Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
KHJ Los Angeles.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
Like that wart you thought was gone, we're back.
It's not gone?
Nope. One more trip to the clinic, Steve. One more trip to the clinic. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is 87 Sports Fans Live, the official radio show of 87sportsfans.com. I am one of your illustrious hosts. I can't even say as always. It's as it used to be. Keith Grieve, and I am joined.
Yeah, by Steve Taylor. Hi, man.
Hi, Steve.
It's once again, life gets in the way, and unfortunately, we're not yet getting paid to do this, so...
We've not done a show since you became a father.
We did. No, we did. The last show we did was about a week. I want to say it was a week after he was born, and now he just turned 2 months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So it's been a little while, but you got a little baby. I'll be honest with you, folks. I'm going to be shooting from the hip, as I mentioned to my buddy, compadre, co-host, Mr. Grieve. Sports have taken a back seat to changing diapers and listening to little kid farts. So,
Daddy brain, we call it.
Oh my God, daddy brain is crazy.
Absolutely. So
I love it.
If you want to join the discussion, the phone number is 585-633-7487. That's 585-633-7487. Call in with all of your questions, comments, concerns for our well-being. But let's start with the grand display that is the Major League Baseball All-Star Break. So it happens every year in July. We play this exhibition game to determine home field advantage in the World Series. We'll get to that in a second. But there's the festivities on Monday night, and that is the Home Run Derby. And this year there was some changes. There was a time limit placed for apparently various reasons. But you know what? I think it worked, personally. Because the Home Run Derby is getting to be like the slam dunk contest in the NBA All-Star Game. I mean, it's nice. It's there. It's fun to a degree. But it really has ceased until this year to be must-see TV. Do you agree with that?
Not necessarily, because I think the problem, if we're doing the comparison with the slam dunk contest, the problem with the slam dunk contest is there's not much that we as fans haven't seen over the years. You know, there's going to be more gimmicks and whatnot, and it's gotten to the point now where guys are getting high marks on dunks that aren't even really dunks. Both Dwight Howard and Blake Griffin have recently won the contest by doing fancy dunks where they don't even touch the rim, like the ball is kind of thrown in. So to me, the dunk contest is it's gotten kind of old. To where the Home Run Derby, I think what makes that successful is who's in it. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't mind the changes. Do I think it needed the changes? Not really. I mean, the Home Run Derby's fine and it's fun, but once again, you need to have somebody in it that you really want to root for. And unfortunately, nowadays, a lot of these players are not the household names that they were, say, during the Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa era. You know, nowadays you get some of these guys. Well, this year you had Albert Pujols in the Derby, but the majority of the other players, I mean, you ask just the casual baseball. I won't even say fan, just the casual sports fan that once in a while watches a baseball game. They won't really know who the heck these guys are.
You look at it, and again, it's a shame because they're players like Todd Frazier, who, as good as he is playing in virtual anonymity in Cincinnati. Just by the virtue of the Reds aren't very good. You know, they're okay, but they're not very good. They're talking about selling off Johnny Cueto and Aroldis Chapman already. They're just not very good. You look at Josh Donaldson, really? Anthony Rizzo. The only reason Rizzo's name is recognizable is because he's a Cub, and everyone keeps hoping that he's one of the saviors to be. Prince Fielder is Prince Fielder. Chris Bryant is in the Anthony Rizzo club as far as one of the hopeful saviors of the Chicago Cubs. Jock Peterson, no. I mean, There's no real household names, like you said, except for Fielder and Pujols. That is it. Manny Machado? Yeah. And you look at some of the things that drive this. It's not like it used to be with, these big sluggers going head to head, and you're like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to see what they do when they're trying to show one another up, and it's not like that. Yeah. I think Donaldson, did not hit many long balls at all. 465 feet was his longest home run. Longer than I can do, but what does that mean? I don't know. That was the first round anyway. And
well, I'm going to say something. It's going to be incredibly controversial, and I know you probably won't appreciate it because you are a baseball purist from many years. You know baseball 1,000 times better than I do. But as a casual observer and somebody that respects the game, enjoys the game, I enjoyed baseball more during the steroid era. So to where you have the purists that say steroids ruin the game, personally, steroids made the game more fun.
You sound like Bob Sullivan.
I'm just saying, for like I said, that's just my opinion as a casual observer. To me, I will never forget the home run derby during the meat of the steroid era when Sosa and McGwire were going for the home run title. And McGwire hit like 14 in a row, and he was hitting them out of the park. That was must-see TV. There were people at the bar I was working at, like 30 people crowded around a TV. Was that like that this year? I guarantee it wasn't. Yeah. But it was because, like you said, you had this monster just crushing the ball 500-600 feet. That was enjoyable. That was the excitement that the game doesn't have now. And, you could say that steroids hurt it, but if you remember, steroids actually saved the game because it was following the strike that all of these steroided out players really started to take over. And for a few years, baseball was bigger. I wouldn't say it was bigger than the NFL, but it was definitely the second major sport in the country, close to the NFL, where now you can even, it probably dropped below hockey as maybe the number 5 sport.
Right, I remember in '98 when McGwire and Sosa were going head to head, and you're just kind of like, I don't want to say skeptical. I guess in hindsight it was, but it was just more like at the time it was like, oh my God, this record has sit there for 34, 36 years, 37 years, and oh my God, both these guys are smashing it. And then it's like, oh my God, look at this is just amazing. You couldn't watch it. And then a couple of years later, Barry Bonds goes and breaks 70 again. And it's like, huh? You knew something was up. And I get what you're saying as far as making the game more entertaining, more fun to watch. And it's hard to disagree with you. But not the baseball fan, but the sport fan in me, it feels cheapened and let down by that because it wasn't natural talent. It was doctored. It was added.
But, you look at there is not one sport in this world right now, other than maybe curling, where the athletes are natural. NFL, come on now. NFL, I would guarantee that 90% or more of the players are taking some kind of HGH steroid. What's that?
Has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Look at NBA. Some of these guys, look at LeBron James. I'm sorry, LeBron James takes some stuff. That man is gigantic. You don't get that big just naturally.
Sculpted. Sculpted.
Exactly.
like jacked.
Exactly.
Is not the word.
So it's not, to me, it's, to use a line from a comedian, a very famous comedian, Daniel Tosh, he said, I want my sports like my video games, which nowadays, that's how sports are. You have these guys that are larger than life, and they are larger than life because they take steroids. If you think baseball players don't take steroids still of some kind, you're crazy. It's just, they have to find a little more of a, back way to do it without, and I'm not talking about just injecting in the butt, but a back way to do it without getting caught because it's a little more strict. But, it's just the nature of athletics. In every sport, track, hockey, tennis, even tennis, you look at some of these guys that are like Roger Federer, who was just in the Wimbledon finals. He's been playing tennis for quite a long time now. I mean, he's in his mid-30s, playing at a high level. Even though he's not a massive, bulked-up person, that's not all that steroids does in HGH and human growth. That also helps you with recuperating and staying healthy and staying at the top.
Exactly, yes.
So to me, that's why I never, I did get on the bandwagon about anti-steroid at first, but then I really thought rationally about it. And I guess this time away from sports has kind of given me a little bit more of a perspective on things to where I just don't. I honestly think that if A, Barry Bonds had a better personality, and B, they just didn't take steroids as such a big deal, baseball would have more popularity right now. Because right now it really is just in the toilet bowl.
If Mark McGwire had hidden that bottle of androstenedione just a little bit better, we probably wouldn't have known anything until biogenesis.
Yeah.
And who knows if biogenesis would have happened if anybody would have had their radar up.
Yeah.
You know? It all started with that damn jar of Andro in McGuire's locker in '98. Anyhow.
And the funny part with me, the funny part to me is, of all the sports to get on them about steroids, baseball is the one sport that steroids, yes, it'll help you hit the ball farther, but you still have to hit a baseball, which is the hardest thing to do in professional sports.
Right.
So to me, like you look at McGwire, he had a ton of home runs, but he had a kind of a crappy batting average for his career. So I don't even know if he would necessarily be in a lot of discussions for MVP or not MVP, Hall of Fame. Yeah, he did hold these records, hit a lot of home runs, but he was a decent player, good player. What? Oh, sorry, I got a little far away. So I don't know. I just, there's just everything's a controversy nowadays in sports. Talking about, and I'm not talking any more than just saying the words Deflategate and the whole thing going on with Pete Rose, with the whole gambling on baseball and whatnot. I just think everyone needs to take a chill pill and get some perspective and realize that these guys are not role models. They're not people to look up to. They are people that get to play a game for half a year for most of them and make millions of dollars. So to me, I don't understand why we are so adamant that they need to follow this code of conduct and have. It's. I stick with Charles Barkley when he said, "I'm not a role model."
All right, how did we get on this from Home Run Derby?
Because we started talking about steroids and then everything kind of ballooned.
Dear God,
steroids ballooned.
I get it.
Well, you asked what was wrong with or do I agree in how the Home Run Derby is being run right now and all that, and it kind of all.
We're heading into a dead ball era because
yes.
the pitching is getting better, and we don't know whether it's getting better or it was just always this way, but the hitters had an unfair advantage. I don't know. Yeah.
And I think hitters are starting to get. I mean, if I was a hitter, I would be worried if I started hitting a ton of home runs because then there's always that glass now. You get a guy that hits 50 home runs, oh, you must be taking steroids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can't spike like that without anybody.
Nope. So your name is automatically tarnished.
And
just
not
by
even
doing good.
And not even Bonds, because Bonds was amazing before he started juicing.
Oh yeah, he was a Hall of Fame player before.
And that's part of what gets me the most about him is that he really didn't need it. But what the steroids for Bonds did do was help him stay healthy because he was becoming an injury.
Yeah.